So Tucker Carlson has Ron Paul on his network, and that's two of the coolest people in the world. I love Ron Paul. It's amazing how you can be so confused as a kid. Because when I was a kid, I used to think, man, this guy, I don't know him, but he has the weird voice and always screams about everything the Republicans don't want. Well, sadly, and the truth be told, he was the only one that was making sense. For the last 20 years, he's talked about things that have come true, and it's all based on just having a common sense, wise approach to what America should be doing and what it should not be doing. Well, he just said there's a black swan event coming. He doesn't know what, but we better be ready for it because he believes there's going to be some tough times for America, especially before the election. Let's jump into some of the things that we should be learning from Mr. Paul. This video starts right now. We got time on our side. We're in a state of home. I need you on my fire. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about this content. If you like it, that thumbs up means the world to me, and just please share this video to some of your friends who are like-minded and who can be influenced by what we talk about today. So Ron Paul goes on the Tucker Carlson show, and I think it's phenomenal. You're talking about a man who really is up in age, but he has made a major impact in a lot of people's life. Not only that, his son is a senator and also doing some phenomenal things and standing up for freedom, standing against all this with Fauci, and really, to me, should be the main player for Senate Majority Leader, no doubt, or Senate Minority Leader, depending on if we win the Senate or not. But he should be in leadership. But Ron Paul talked about a few things. He talked about the fact of course, a balanced budget. He's always been talking about this, and also saying that we can't just turn a blind eye and support the military-industrial complex, meaning we can't just go to war with everybody just because we believe that's in the best interest of America. It's not. Most of the time, it actually doesn't benefit America at all. It puts us in more debt. And he always says, you have to be sovereign. We have to have a sovereign nation. He talks about gold and the value of gold and how valuable it is to have a true balanced budget. Also, one thing he's been doing is teaching a homeschool curriculum, trying to empower parents to take the value back into the home of teaching your children. No one loves your children more than you. No one believes that your children can excel more than you. No one wants to protect your children and wants to see them thrive more than you. So why don't we heed that and say, you know what, that's a good idea. We should be doing that. We should be teaching our children and not letting someone else teach them, because what we found out, 80% of Americans believe that religion is in decline and that it doesn't play a vital part in our life. Well, remember, 80% of those people are teaching your children. 80% of those people are influencing your kids. So you want to know why your kids don't have values and morals, why your kids are not thriving. It may be because you're not the one leading them. It's the 80% of people who believe that religion and a biblical worldview are just simple morals and values are not good and not that important anymore. What is truth? Well, it doesn't matter anymore, remember? Also, he said there's a black swan event coming. Now, he's not one of those ones who's like a prophesying that something bad's happening and he's going to name it and claim it. No, what he's saying, though, is there's no way that the Democrats and leftists have started this global agenda, and all of a sudden, the Supreme Court comes out and backs Texas, and all of a sudden the Supreme Court comes out and does a few more things that we would consider conservative wins. Now you're starting to see the fact that Biden is way down in the polls. He's dealing with, he's just a senile old man. And even though they're trying to destroy Trump and they're taking a lot of his money, his funds, and they're arresting a lot of his people that was in his cabinet, they're still not stopping his motivation, and they're still not taking away his popularity with voters. It's making him actually stronger. So what Ron Paul was saying is there could easily be a black swan event that could cause some major problems with 2024. Now, that is true. That is very much true. We've talked about that. And I believe it's kind of like, throwing the wet noodles on the wall and seeing which one sticks. We've heard of outbreaks. We've heard of wars and conflicts. We've heard of all this destruction. We've heard of natural disasters. We've heard of voting issues. We've heard it all. And I think they're throwing them all on the wall. See, even the cow agrees with it. They're throwing them all on the wall to see which one sticks. So that way that could be the, the black swan event. That's what's scary to me, is that we keep having all of these quote-unquote conflicts and chaos and crises, and actually what it is it may just be a lot of false flags or a lot of psyops to cause a problem or to make you think there's a black swan event, so it could be another 2020. Is that what we're looking at? Ron Paul seems to be very humble. However, a lot of the things he said has come true. He talked about the national debt and how wars have actually caused more problems with that. Well, that's exactly what happened as he was railing against the Iraq war and Afghanistan war. So he talks about homeschooling. He talks about raising your children. He talks about a steady home. He talks about gold. He talks about a lot of things that we believe that most common sense Americans would say, you know what, that makes complete sense. So why are we doing nothing about it? Why are we just talking about it and actually not doing it? I'm gonna go back to the point, to end this video, I'm gonna go back to the point that says 80% of Americans don't believe that religion or biblical worldview is important anymore. Now, religion is just religion. But let's talk Christianity, let's talk about morals and values. No matter if you are a Christ believer or a Christ follower, you can't tell me the world is better than it ever was. You can't tell me education is better than it ever was. You can't tell me that having 123 genders makes sense. You can't tell me that the cities in crises are just good and normal. So even though we say that a biblical worldview or a religion doesn't play a part and shouldn't play a part, let's look at America around us. And let's see, really what's happening is we're becoming a modern day Rome. And we're a fallen empire because we're really a failed experience, because we've lost our eyes and we've turned away from our Creator. I honestly believe if we started homeschooling our children, putting fathers back in homes, trying to raise our children with values and morals and respect, chivalry, I believe we would see a change. And I believe we'd see a bunch of Ron Pauls running around. And as crazy as that is, I believe we would start impacting the world again. Republicans are good at one thing, talking. But they don't ever really do anything. They just talk a lot. So I'm ready to see conservatives like Ron Paul, new generations like the Thomas Masseys, the Rand Pauls. I'm ready to see more of those stand up for freedom, stand up for a balanced budget, stand up for sound money, and not going to war just over a little slap in the face. I'm ready to see that again. And you know what? I think it's going to take a biblical worldview once more. So, you know what? Your schools are not going back to it. Your public education is not going back to it. So it may be better that you just take your kids out and you start representing the biblical worldview. You start representing what core values and morals are. You sacrifice and you teach your children at home. You educate them at home, because then, and only then, you will make an impact. And I believe when you make an impact in your children, they'll make an impact into their world, and then we will see a stronger America and a revitalization of where we once were. If we want to be the city on the hill, I think we need to look that there could easily be a black swan event, but don't let that deter you. Stay the course, teach your children, and realize there are better ways than what public education and what the government is telling us. It's time for us to be more. And I really put that on us, responsibility on us. I put that on conservatives because they're the ones that's pretty much let their guard down. And now that's why 80% of people don't believe in a biblical worldview. That's why most people think Ron Paul was crazy back in the day. And actually he was making more sense than ever. And he's more popular than ever because people are realizing, wow, those policies actually made sense. And I think that's what we need to pay attention to. So give me your thoughts. Are we going to see a black swan event? I don't know. But me, I'm always prepared for it, and I always want to make sure my kids are prepared for it. So we physically prepare, we mentally prepare, we emotionally prepare, and we spiritually prepare. I know I've already told my kids they're going to have some hard days because we're living in a time where men are not being men, and no one knows what real truth is anymore. So I told them it's going to be hard for them to grow up in the world that they grow up in. But if I teach them to be strong kids, they'll be strong adults. And they'll have a core stance. And they'll have values. And they'll have morals. They'll be ready to face the world head on. Guys, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about this content. We have to change the way we're doing everything. I'm tired of getting on here and just talking and trying to make you feel good. I think that we need to have a moral responsibility to raise better children, to raise a better generation, to impact the world. And we can do it if we put our minds to it and quit just talking and start actually doing. Guys, thank you for watching. God bless. Happy homesteading.